spectacular show highlighting drinks trends in Holland, in Austria, in Switzerland, and in Germany, and also in Amsterdam. So I have great pleasure and privilege in introducing a few of our friends. Helmut Adam is here. Helmut's from Mixology magazine, which I think is kindly going to give a couple of copies out.
Definitely.
Welcome, Helmut. Thanks for coming all the way to London. We have Bastian here. Give us a wave, Bastian. Bastian's here from the Enkalani bar in Frankfurt. Welcome, Bastian. Mauro's here as well. Hi, Mauro. Mauro's from the Negroni bar. And then from Amsterdam, representing the fabulous Shaker Boys and the Bartender Network, we have Ricardo Sporksleder. Ricardo, welcome. We have Tal Nazari, Tal's here, and Misha Hostelmans, one of the best bartenders in Holland. So, I'm going to start with you, Misha.
Thank you, Henry. Thank you for having us. Thank you for joining us with the next 30 minutes. We're going to go in a very fast pace. We only have 30 minutes. We have all of Germany, all of Holland. We have to do all these drinks. We're going to move on fast. Many drinks and many things to tell. First of all, I'm going to have a Shaker Boys bartenders agency. So we have a lot of bartenders in our agency. We do trainings, we do brand consultancy, we do lots of things, bar consultancy. But today we're going to talk about Dutch drinking culture and German drinking culture. And if you think about Dutch drinking culture, you think about Genevers and you think about liquors. And if you think about Genevers and about liquors, you think about Bols. Bols, a Dutch company, recently being sold back by the Dutch, so it's a 100% Dutch company nowadays, since 2 weeks, 3 weeks. We're going to make these beautiful drinks with all these Genevers and liquors. First of all, how do we use Genever? Well, we use Genever in a way that in London people use, for example, gin. And if you go back to the past of the gin, you know that it all started with Genever. Before there was gin, we had Genever. Hence the name Genever. We're passing around some young Genever. It's grain spirits. But we also have old Genever.
No, it's okay.
It's a mistake to think that old Genever is older than the young Genever. It's not true. There are 2 recipes for Genever, an old recipe and a new recipe. So the difference between old and new Genever is just the age of the recipe, not the age of the drink.
And Misha, could you highlight how is Geneva selling in Holland at the moment?
It's huge. It's the biggest selling thing in Holland, especially with people at home, and especially with the older people. So what Bols is doing right now, they've tried to focus on the young people, cocktails, etc. And we also had later on some really nice age Genevers, 5 years, 10 years. We're going to pass them around, so be patient. First of all, I want to introduce one of my colleagues who are going to make some, I'm bringing around some Genever. Tal is somewhere, I don't know where he is. And please taste it. And later on we're going to taste Porterwijn. It's grain wine, if you have to translate it. Grain wine, made of grains, in a beautiful clay bottle, made in Germany. Helmut, did you know that? It's made in Germany, the bottle, eh?
Oh yeah.
Only the bottle.
Kleine Menge.
Only the bottle. This is used in Holland, especially to drink with seafood. And if we talk about Dutch seafood, we talk about raw herring, a Dutch delicacy. And the day the new shipment of herring is coming in, everybody drinks Porterwijn, grain wine, with their raw herring. We didn't bring the raw herring, wasn't allowed. And you have to be glad that I didn't, because otherwise we would puke some more than we already did last night. So,
where were you last night?
I was with you. Okay. I also have some special other things. Later on you can taste everything you see here, but this is Els, and if I say Els, Tal is looking at me because his mother's name is Els. So he always brings a bottle when he's going around the world, and his mother is always with him. Els used in coffee, a little bit of drinking culture. If we talk about Holland and we talk about where all the Dutch people went, one of the things when with our ships long ago was South Africa. This is a bitter schnapps, only drunk in South Africa. We managed to get a bottle from the distillery, so try to taste one of them. It was really nice, very special. Tol is passing around the Korenwijn. If you have any questions afterwards, come to us and we can all answer all those questions. Like I said, we only have 30 minutes, so I have to move on to Helmut. He's going to do his part, and I'll be back with you in another 5 minutes.
Thanks. I'm gonna speak about German and Austrian and Swiss cocktail culture in general. We have a lot of cities in our market. We have Munich, Cologne, Frankfurt, Berlin, Zurich, Lausanne, Vienna, which are all cities with roughly 1 million people. We don't have that huge metropole like London or New York that is stimulating the market. So it's always a little bit different the way cocktail culture is rising. We have two main influences, which is in the southern part. It's a very strong Italian influence. It's a lot of Italian spirits, and we got a different influence, which is the northern influence or Atlantic influence. That is more visible in Cologne, in Berlin and Frankfurt, which is more coming from London. We have in the north more inspired from London. And here in the first slot, we're going to show you something of the southern influence. Maybe some of you might have heard that Germany is the biggest export market for cachaça. I just noticed last year that there's now some companies promoting the caipirinha cachaça here in Britain. In Germany, it has been the biggest selling cocktail for 10 years. We're going to show you a cachaça variation. This is Mauro from Munich, from the Negroni bar. He's going to show you a variation on the caipirinha. The caipirinha actually made cocktail culture visible in the public because people in every second home, people have a cachaça set. They really enjoy the muddling bit and the sweet and sour structure. They do it at home, and that's actually a drink that brought people into bars and made them pay attention to cocktail culture. So this is a very simple drink. Basically, it's with kumquats. Most of you know these. They're sort of a bitter orange. You want to start? The sugar's already in. Do the muddling bit. And then I want to show you something that not all of you might know. We use a chinotto, which is basically it's a Coke of South Italy. Can you say that? Yeah. It's very bitter. It's made from a small bitter orange and very refreshing. People have that as an aperitif in the south if they don't want to drink alcohol, but obviously people mix it with alcohol very well. This is April, which is a product that was just launched in the United States, I heard. It's a great product because it's got a low percentage in alcohol, 15%. Especially now the trend going towards drinks with less alcohol, people being more health conscious and wanting lighter flavors.
And are flavoured caipirinhas common in the cocktail bars in Germany?
I mean, they've been doing the strawberry thing, strawberry caipirinha, for years. So this is more like an old story. And so this one, pass it around.
Thank you, Mauro.
And we have some small mixers here for you to taste. Smells?
What else is popular in Germany at the moment, Helmut?
I mean, yeah, we got the vodka bit as well, but there's pretty much everywhere. There's a strong interest growing into gins right now, and premium gins, especially because bartender's favorite. Everybody's really into it. There's new brands coming in, and actually what we achieved, similar to the Dutch guys, that we sort of brought this network more together. We made the city scenes talk to each other, like made Leeds or Manchester talk to London, and not be like, yeah, we're the best, no, you're the best. That's what we achieved, and we've got a young generation coming up that is really stimulating the scene again, and it's very nice to come together here as well. Thank you for inviting us here. Now to be quick, we do the second drink. That is more a drink to show you German heritage. This is a German Riesling from the Rhine Valley. And for some years here in Britain, to Riesling in general was referred to as Hock Riesling, you know the term? So this is a Hock Martini. Hock is actually a pronunciation mistake because it's called a region called Hochheim. And obviously your English can't pronounce that properly. But it's nice, it sounds nice. It's a Hock Martini. It's basically a mixture of Germany and Britain, made with gin, a bit of Holland as well. It's a really international drink with apricot brandy and Riesling. It's a very simple drink, only 3 ingredients. It's dry, it's something for martini drinkers, but as well it's pleasant. You've got the dryness in there and you've got the fruitiness of the Riesling bouncing on that dryness. It's a really nice balanced drink.
Helmut, I think it's even better with a Geneva.
Yeah, we should try that. We should try that. That's what we're here.
Is Geneva at all popular in Germany?
I was not about to say that. There's a Geneva they don't know what to talk about. It's a red Geneva, and it's very popular in the middle part of Germany, around Cologne. And people drink that as shooters. So we appreciate Dutch culture.
Yeah, that's a very Geneva. We're not going to talk about that.
And they're not going to talk about Jägermeister.
Exactly. I'm moving on because of the time pressure. Well, the Hochheim cocktails being made looks really nice. I'm going to move on to some Dutch cocktails. I'm going to stand in front of this because it's too busy behind the bar and they need their space.
And it's about World War III is about to break out as well.
Yeah, it's going to be dangerous there. Like a little German thing going on, soccer, you know. Well, what we're going to make now is a typical way for Dutch people to use Geneva, and it is to change vodka or gin for Geneva. Ricardo you're making the Dutch cosmonaut. He's making a Dutch cosmopolitan. And if I talk about Dutch cosmopolitan, I saw some bars who did Dutch cosmopolitans here in London, and they made it with Kettle One vodka. But Kettle One is more known in Holland for the Geneva than the vodka. But if we talk about Dutch cosmopolitan, we talk about Dutch ingredients. So we have Lyon, Geneva, Dutch Geneva, triple sec from Bols, Dutch. We brought some cranberry juice from Ameland, a little island in the north of Holland. And of course the lime juice. Ricardo gonna make his drink, and already over here. Nothing? Okay. Not yet.
So what's tell us a little about Amsterdam culture? What's popular there now?
Well, there's a lot of drugs in Amsterdam culture. Wanted to make some with some nice herbs, but last night we had a party at the hotel room, so no herbs left for making cocktails. So we have to stick with Cosmo. But Dutch culture in Amsterdam, the cocktail culture in Holland is really coming up. For the past 3-4 years, the cocktails coming up, style bars are coming up.
I had the privilege of helping Ricardo judge a competition, national Dutch bartender competition last week in Amsterdam. And I have to tell you, I arrived at the show expecting it to be a normal competition, as it is in the UK, where there are maybe 20 participants and 40-50 people watching. When I arrived at 6:30, there were something like 400 or 500 people waiting outside. It had been on television that day. It was live on television, in fact. It had been on the radio. It was on the cover of a local newspaper. And by the end of the night, over 2,000 people had come to this bartender competition, which is unbelievable. I've never seen anything like it. It really shows how far the culture is moving on.
Yeah, it's really taking off now at the moment. By the way, if there are any bartenders who like to work in Amsterdam, please contact us. We can arrange a nice, beautiful, style place to work. Having said that, Ricardo is moving on to something new. We're gonna do a bottle from Bols with us. It's called the green tea, so a liquor made of green tea. And very simple again, we're going to make a Collins, a green tea Collins. And we're going to make it, of course, with Geneva, with Bols green tea, sweet and sour. And it's a very simple way to make a nice cocktail with Geneva or with liquors or anything you want. There's also good thing though. Another nice thing we heard from Bols, we got very good connections with Bols of course, is they're going to start a European bar school in Amsterdam. Because Bols is a brand from Amsterdam, very old brand, they want to bring everything back to Amsterdam again. So they're going to start a huge bar school in Amsterdam, an international bar school, where people like Philip Duff, who is a brand ambassador for Bols, will conduct trainings, and we will be there and give trainings, and a lot of international people who will be there. And they're building the place right now, I think another 4 or 5 months before it's finished. So another 4 or 5 seconds before Ricardo's finished with his drink. Beautiful color, green tea.
It's actually a taste that is really coming now because of the Asian boom. A lot of people when they drink, what I've heard, they drink whiskey and green tea. I think that's a flavor people will appreciate in the future because it's, as well as healthy.
That's the thing, the healthy thing that's coming up. And green tea sounds healthy. I don't think it's healthy, but it sounds healthy. So while Ricardo was finishing his drink, I would say, Helmut, please take over.
Alright. We're going to move now to the northern influence or Atlantic influence. I said that Bastian, for example, he used to work in London to get inspired, moved back to Frankfurt, and he's doing very good stuff there. So if anybody, you guys coming over for the World Championship, visit any of these cities, so pop into Bianca Galani bar in Frankfurt, he's doing amazing stuff there. He's going to show you now 2 drinks. We sort of call these drinks with a challenging aroma. We're trying to connect flavors that people do not really appreciate as flavor as such. But if you combine it, you get a pretty nice result. This drink is called a Sedano, creation of Bastian. It's with celery. And we wanted to get the celery out of the Bloody Mary corner and make a nice drink with it. It's with honey as well. It's gin based for a spirit. And Bastian loves martinis, can I say that? Yes. So it's sort of a order martini. Then it's some passion fruit puree. And lemon juice, isn't it? Yeah. A bit of lemon juice. And basically what we have in Germany, you can see in Germany, people are really getting into aromas now, which is a nice development. The people start to drink spirits, pure, actually going back to Holland, it's amazing what these guys have been doing there. I have a very good Dutch friend I've been working for years with in Austria, and he's always been telling me there's no cocktail college in Holland, I can work in Holland. Then we went, like 2 years ago, we went to Amsterdam. We saw all these style bars popping up out of the ground, just out of nowhere. I just want to say, what you guys achieved in just a couple of years is amazing. Congratulations on that. Yeah, we're just gonna shake that drink up. Yeah, green chartreuse, which is a favorite bartender favorite as well. I know there's some British bartenders over here that actually prefer using green chartreuse instead of Cointreau or triple sec. A really nice herbal flavor coming into the drink. Just pass it around in a second. Enjoy. Then the finish is a dash, again it's something Italian, a dash of Sambitter. Sambitter was invented to do something like a Campari soda, but without alcohol, senza alcohol, like the Italians say. That gives the drink a little bit of color, a little bit of dryness and bitterness. Now we come into the last drink of this section, which is a very challenging drink. Because of Henry and Ray were joking around me, they've never seen me mixing a cocktail. I'll do it myself to prove that I still can do it without shaking.
Yeah, I'm watching.
You're sure?
Because since I do the magazine now, I rather mix words in cocktails, but I still try to keep it safe.
Somebody take a picture, please.
So, okay, this is a very special drink. It was invented by a bartender called Laila Davish. She's I think 21 years old. She's very creative. She's assigned for the young generation moving into the bars and doing new stuff there. She invented a drink. It's called Rauch. Rauch in German means smoke, and she wanted to do a drink with whiskey, single malt whiskey, that should appeal to the non-whiskey drinker. And the special thing about this drink is that she just wanted the flavor of the single malt whiskey. A very peaty single malt whiskey. You can take Lafroy, obviously you can take another brand as well, like the Compass Box Peat Monster, and just take that peatiness into the drink and leave the strength of the whiskey outside. Just fresh shaken. And most of you know that whiskey goes well with chocolate. In that case, we take from Salzburg, from Austria, this bitter chocolate, very nice, 4 CLs. And only 1 CL of this, we just want the peatiness, we don't want the strength of it. And to finish off, very unusual, tamarind juice. Tamarind is a tree fruit that is used in the Thai kitchen a lot. This is sort of a soft drink. It's not really for the European palate, but if you mix it in a cocktail, it's going to connect the single malt whiskey and the chocolate liqueur.
Is tamarind a flavour that's used a lot in Germany, or is it just something you come up with?
Actually, Laila came up with, I mean, there's a lot of Asian kitchen now. In Berlin, every 20 meters, there's an Indian or a Vietnamese restaurant or so that's why we just started going in there, taking something and playing around with it. Actually, ginger beer, we got it through the Asia shops, which is nice. Now we can do proper meals again, which we weren't able to do. So I just go ahead with this drink. Is Angus here?
I haven't seen him yet.
Yeah. This is not an IBA shake. Okay. Right. That's right. Very important about this drink, and that was my little contribution to the drink, was the presentation, the design of the drink. Laila presented it in a small glass, and I thought, like, this is a very unusual aroma. It's got to look like something. It's got to have a nice design if you want to sell it to a customer, because it's so unusual. Because it's got a brown color, which is not the color people like to see in a drink. They rather like to see red or yellow or greenish. And then I came up with this star anise. You all know that. That's a favorite of all the food photographers. Very nice, just on top. And people love that. Just pass it around. It's a very unusual flavor. Have a first sip and have a second sip, and then you just understand this drink, and people keep ordering it, and I was amazed, because it's a very challenging aroma. Yeah, that is about, we say, like an avant-garde drink. It's on cocktail menus. It's a new cold drink in Germany. It's on cocktail menus in Frankfurt, in Cologne, Berlin now. Just find us there. Yeah, what's fun? So I hand over for the last Dutch part.
Thank you, Helmut. Thank you. Oh, this is really nice. Really nice.